I'm Susan James, Library Manager here at Bayless and Assistant Director of Superior District Library. And we're so glad to have Dion Mindykowski back today. He's here actually for two presentations, this how to download ebooks and audiobooks, and also tonight, if you want to come back at 7, he's here for his Path to the Death Race program. We also have some other things going on this week, our spring break movie and Lego days and other things. There are flyers about those, so help yourselves. And there's some other information in our newsletter about what's going on. A lot is going on the next couple of weeks. Dion Mindykowski is director of the Tequamanon Library in Newberry, and he's going to tell us how to download ebooks and audiobooks. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. Glad we made it out. We officially have our youngest member of any of the classes I've taught here. I was told that she had a lot of fun at the National Weather Service program, and I hate to inform everybody that I'm not as exciting as the weather. Hopefully you're going to learn a lot tonight, but the best thing that we're going to do today is show you how to get free library books onto any one of your e-reader devices or MP3 players, whatever you prefer. And it doesn't matter your skill level, it doesn't matter your device, we'll try to get you set up here today. So what I always like to do is find out what you have as you're out in the audience here. I heard of one Android tablet. Anybody else have any Android tablets here today?
I have one, but I also have Kindle.
Okay, good. So 2 Android tablets and a Kindle. Any other Kindles in the room?
Got a Kindle Fire.
Okay.
I just have a plain Kindle with no internet connect.
Okay.
We have one of those too, plus we have a Kindle app on the iPads.
Okay, great. And so iPads too, and how about you? Nothing? Okay. All right. So what I do is I walk through both methods, whether you have a Kindle or a Kindle app, and then everything else. There's 2 different ways to get everything on there, and I'll kind of go through slow. So if I'll let you know what I'm doing, whether it's Kindle or non-Kindle, and just you can kind of pay attention in case you ever need to know for the other devices. First I've ever had multiple devices here, so I think as the years go on, people get more and more electronics, and they come in with multiple things here. And did everyone get one of these handouts? Okay. Now, one of the things that I like to say at the beginning of class is I used to teach college classes, and I would give the handouts ahead of time when I first started. I'd put them in front of everybody, and sooner or later, about half hour into the class, somebody raises their hand and says, I'm lost. Well, they weren't paying attention to the lecture, they were going through step by step and trying to do this on their own. Then I started doing these library classes, and as you can see, it's not your average college age class, but students do the exact same thing. They start going through and they get lost and miss everything else. So what I'm asking is just sort of follow along with me, and these are more for your reference to help you remember at the end of the day there. But you can follow along. The very first step is what everybody needs to know, no matter what your device. Even if you have no device and want to read these on your computer, is you want this website, digitalmedia.gldl.info. So I'm going to bring up a web browser. The most familiar one to a lot of people is this blue E down here. And it appears that it would help if I put internet connection here. Do you have a password on your Wi-Fi?
No.
Okay, so I'm going to bring up the web browser, and this top part up here is known as the address bar. You're going to click once in there, just one single click, and type in any web address you're going to. In this case, it's this one from step 1. So I'm going to type digitalmedia.gldl.info.
Can you see okay, or should I dim the lights further? You think it's fine?
Okay, so we're going to see the main page for the digital ebooks and downloadable audiobooks website. This is purchased, these are a collection purchased as a joint venture with all of the libraries in our cooperative. So we have libraries across the entire UP as well as a couple of downstate that all chip in money, so we have all these books for everybody to use. Now, these books, for the most cases, are popular materials and classics. If you're looking for some really obscure stuff that a lot of people don't read, it's going to be harder to find this way. You might not find everything for another reason, because some publishers are still scared of this technology and won't sell their authors' books in this format. Another problem, I say all the problems now just so you don't get frustrated, is that this technology has grown so much in popularity that libraries are having trouble keeping up with the demand. It has, even from big libraries with millions and millions of dollars in their budget out there, are finding that they can't keep these books in stock enough, because everybody who got a Kindle as gifts went out and purchased them, and especially people with low vision that are having trouble reading those small print of books. These can magnify it so much. Everybody wants these books. So sometimes there is a wait, but the same thing if you walk in here for the newest popular material, there's going to be a wait for that book. So the biggest thing is to have patience and to not expect to get your top choice every time on the first try. Now, that being said, the nice thing about this is the Bayless Library can only keep so many hours. They can't staff 24/7 for you. But this site, you can get books. If you can't sleep at 2 in the morning, you can bring your Kindle up and you can get a library book and check it out and read it. And that's what a lot of people talk about, is they just say, you know, I couldn't sleep, so I came in and got this book. It was so great. And you can return them at any time and check out more. So I'm going to walk you through all that.
I have a question. Do you have other kids' books?
There are kids' books. I'll show you some of the kids' books in the example. And you had a question too?
Yeah. Well, to start with, I don't have the middle line,
The address bar?
no,
Wait.
the orange
part.
The orange part.
Okay. There.
Did I do something wrong?
Okay. What are you using right now for that? Okay. What that's going to be is, because it's the mobile version, you see that thing with 3 lines there?
Yep.
Hit that button, it's the menu, and it should see some options there. No, maybe not. Oh yeah, if you hit it, does it? Because I have that too. See, I hit the menu button and it shows it.
Okay.
Yep. So do you have it now? Did it show up there?
It's, yeah. It
Okay. Yep.
looks different. But
Yeah. What I'm using is I'm using the version on the laptop. If any of you are looking on a mobile device, they format it differently, so you're going to see a slightly different view. But it's a very good question. If you ever can't see this this menu, you just hit the menu button and it makes it show up. Okay.
No, I'm not internet connected, so I don't get this.
Okay. Does
I have Amazon.
okay with your Kindle, you do a connection to Amazon though?
Yes.
Okay. You would need to go on a computer to get to this part of it,
Okay.
and then it transfers automatically to your Kindle. So I'll walk through that so it's a little bit less confusing.
Okay.
Okay, so there are a lot of great books we can start shopping for on here that are free through the library. But I want to get you to the first step. And the first step I'm going to mention is for non-Kindle users. For non-Kindle users, you need to actually physically plug your device into the computer, for the most part. There are some that actually let you use the app. But for a lot of, you've got a Nook. Anybody here with a Nook? No Nooks this time? Okay, Nooks are one of those Sony e-readers you have to plug in, and you have to have certain software. If you have an Android tablet, instead of plugging into a computer, you're going to need to have what's called the Overdrive app. And the Overdrive app on there will let you download this. So, we're going to skip the fun stuff for now of getting books. We're going to go right to the software to get set up to use it for the first time. What we're going to do is we're going to scroll to the very bottom of this page.
Okay.
The very bottom, we see a button for applications. And remember, Kindle users, you do not need to do this. Kindle users, it's a lot quicker. It's one of the things I like about the Kindles. Doesn't mean the other ones are great too, but the Kindles have a very quick download. So we have 3 things here. The Overdrive Media Console not only works for audiobooks on the computer, but it will work for your eBooks as well on your applications. So you will need to download that, especially for the Android tablet. You can get it for the iPad as well if you're not using the Kindle app. Adobe Digital Editions you will need for Nooks, Sony e-readers, any of the other off-brands, to read eBooks and plug it in there. So I'm going to show you how to download both of those right now. It's going to look very different on here than it will on your tablets. Tablet installation is a lot easier than computer installation. So if you have an Android tablet, it's going to go a lot quicker. So what we're doing is we're getting the software that only needs to be installed once. Once you do this boring long step, you can easily get your books without problem. Again, Kindle users, just sort of sit back because you get the easy part to start. The only problem I see with Kindles, especially for younger readers, is that you need an Amazon account linked to it. And the Amazon account requires a credit card. And even if you're not buying books, they require that to have the Amazon account. So like when our friends at the library bought prizes for some reading program, they bought a Kindle for a prize for the adults, but stuck with the Nook for the younger people, so they wouldn't be required to have a credit card to sign up for that. So it's in a couple extra steps, but we'll get you through it. Okay, so I'm going to refresh just because we had a little bit of interruption with all the technology was not working at that point. If you have any kind of tablet, the Overdrive Media Console is going to help you get everything that you need for your ebooks, your downloadable audiobooks. If you have a Nook, a Sony e-reader, or any similar e-reader, it's not a Kindle, you're going to need the Adobe Digital Editions. For MP3 players and computers to listen to the audiobooks, you're going to need the Overdrive Media Console. Anybody here interested in the downloadable audio to listen to?
Is that what the MP3?
Yes. The nice thing is,
I didn't bring mine with me, so I'll do that another time.
well, this is part of it. So I'm going to talk a little bit about both of these. So I'll show you how to get both the software. But the nice thing about the downloadable audios is some of them let you burn them to blank CDs. You can take them in your car with you if you don't have the MP3 player, just a computer. So just something nice to think about, especially if you do a lot of traveling. Okay, so I'm going to download each of these to show you how to go through process. First, the Overdrive Media Console, which is for the audio, or if you have a tablet, for everything that you want. So I'm going to select what I have. I know that we have a couple of Android tablets here. If you want to put it on your iPhone or iPad, you can do that as well. I've used it on my iPhone to get my kids some audiobooks before. And what I have right now is the Windows version for my laptop.
So can you do audiobooks on a Kindle?
I believe that for the Kindle, these are just for the eBooks. But you don't need to because the Kindles have their own method of getting it. So it's not required. It's just there are certain books that aren't released in both. Just a little history on this. When this service first came available, Amazon didn't want libraries lending material. So Kindles were not allowed to be part of this service. Well, library users were very unhappy with that. They've got this expensive piece of equipment, but they want to be able to use library books with it. Enough people complained, Amazon listened to their customers, and started releasing library books in this format as well. So for a time being, there was either no Kindle books available, and you had to use all the Sony eBooks with the app, or when it first started happening, there were a lot less Kindle books and everything else. Now it's pretty much equal. So you still might find some here and there that the Kindle and the Kindle app do not cover, but it's pretty widespread now. Okay, so I'm going to download for Windows. And anytime you download something, it's going to depend on what browser you're using. Something's going to pop up and ask you, do you want to run or save this? I'm going to go ahead and run. Let's just start the software and click through the buttons and read the screen. This is something I always talk about in any computer-oriented class I teach. This is the license agreement. It is a long legal document of what you agree to when you use their software. I recommend that everybody, as a responsible computer user, read through this, even if it's really boring. Get a cup of coffee, just sit there and read through, make sure you're not agreeing to anything that you wouldn't normally agree to just by clicking the button. So many people just skip this stuff. I'm going to skip it right now because I've read this thing a lot. Every time I prepare the class, I read the new version. See, this one came out January of 2014. The last time I taught this class was probably June. So when I went to reinstall this, there's a new one for me to read through. See, it's long, but before you sign anything, always read through it. I'm going to agree. Then we'll just click next. Next. If you don't know what you're doing enough to customize, just keep clicking next or OK until it's done. And close. Job's done. That's already on our computer now, ready to go. It's even easier if you have a tablet. So just going through. So again, the Overdrive app for Androids, and if you have it for iPhone, it's going to get your eBooks and your audiobooks. For the computers, the best way to go is this is for audio, and we're going to go back and get Adobe Digital Editions for the eBooks. Especially important for your Nooks and your Sony e-readers. I know you don't have any now, but you never know when you might switch it up or somebody gets you a gift or you're just helping a friend with it. So I clicked on it. It's going to ask if I want to, say don't install. That's not part of this. Just an upgrade that I need to do. So I'm going to click download now. Most of everything you need to do with software, what might seem foreign and hard to do, is just read the screen and look around for important terms like download now, next, OK, close. So I click download now, and I'm going to pick the Windows version. And it's going to ask me if I want to run or save. I'm going to run it again. And again, more legal documents to read, but the nice thing is, once you do this and get this whole setup process, you install these two things if you need to, and you don't have to do this again. You can just keep plugging your device in and using it. I keep reinstalling them to teach the class, and that's why I keep doing that.
So they should click on save, you're saying then?
No, run. Did I say run?
No, you did say run.
Okay.
Okay.
The difference between save and run when you're getting software to pop up, if you click save, it's going to take a temporary install file and put it on your computer, so it takes up a little bit of space. If you just click run, it does it all in memory and doesn't take up that space with that installation file. Think of it like the packaging that you get if you get a delivery in the mail and you get what you really want is inside. You've got this box. Sometimes those boxes collect in your basement to take up storage room. It's the same way with that. If you hit run, it's the same thing of the mail delivery coming right with the what's inside and handing it to you. So this only came up because I had it previously installed. It's asking if I want to move all my old books to here. You can hit migrate data if you want. If you have reinstalled it, that's okay. I'm just going to click skip because everything that I have on there isn't important for the class today. So it's loading Adobe Digital Reader.
I'm confused again already. I know. Is that something that I'm supposed to, I'm in my iPad that I need to have? I'm confused now.
Okay, with an iPad, no.
No,
and with
okay,
the Kindle app, no.
Okay.
So that's, yeah.
I just, that's the part that I'm not picking up on immediately, is whether it applies to
I
me or
missed a
not.
couple of steps in it too. I have no idea how you got me.
Okay, the reason I installed Adobe Digital Editions,
Oh, I don't have one.
I was back here at the Great Lakes Digital Library, so we have these two options, Overdrive Media Console and Adobe Digital Editions. This one right here is for audiobooks,
Gotcha.
or it's for your Android tablet.
Okay.
This one is what I just installed just now. This is for eBooks, if you have a Nook, a Sony e-reader, if you have, I can't think of some other devices. We get some mystery ones sometimes that I've never heard of, but chances are I've never heard of it. this is what you're going to need to use with it. If you have anything Kindle related or a tablet that can use the Kindle app. So the Androids, I believe, can get a Kindle app, so you can listen to the Kindle part as well if you have the Android tablets. These steps are just the general overview, but for Kindles, you get to kind of, Kindles or anything that can handle a Kindle app, can just kind of look the other way and wait for the easy steps to come around.
What is the difference between an Android and Kindle?
Okay, difference between an Android and a Kindle, think of it, okay, I'm trying to think the best way. Kindles and Nooks are strictly dedicated for e-readers. They're meant to be, to download your books. What's that?
They're designed for books.
Yeah, they're designed for books. An Android tablet or an iPad are more like mini computers that are all just a screen, and they can have a special program on there to run Kindle, to run like a Kindle.
So a Kindle Fire, is that considered an Android?
No, Kindle Fire does more web browsing like a computer, but its still primary focus is the books. The Android it's kind of like different car companies too. So you've got Toyota and you've got GM, and think of Android is, you know, Toyota, and Kindle is GM. They're two separate companies making different devices. Okay. Except the Android can pretend to be a Kindle. So if you make a Toyota pretend to be a...
Well, it's still a car, right?
Yes, and actually I had a boss who had a truck like that. It was all foreign, but some of the parts were put into it were American, so he was convinced it was an American truck, but it was a Mazda. So, so it can be the same way with cars. Okay, now that was the hard part. What we're going to start doing is the fun stuff and browsing for books. So again, if you ever get lost and need to start over at square one, you can bring up that digitalmedia.gldl.info. The nice thing is, if any of you have an Android or a Kindle and just downloaded that Overdrive app, you can get a version of this right inside that app instead of going to a web browser. So if you did install that, you can log in through your library right now. So what everyone, if you are following along, should be back to the Great Lakes Digital Libraries. I'm going to talk first about the multiple ways to search for books. You might not always find what you're looking for, so you might have to browse and find something else that looks good. One of the first things to pay attention to, let me scroll down so I can give some examples here. Okay, well, there aren't good examples on this page, but if you see this, what does that look like?
Headphones.
Headphones. These are audiobooks. If you see that, you're looking at the audiobook format. If you see these, obviously a book. Now, do you see how it's kind of a black color right now? The black color means that book is currently in and ready for you to check out right now. So that's a good sign, because everything on this main page was available when I just scrolled through. I was looking for an example of something that was currently checked out. Now, the way to tell is if it's a light gray. If that book is ever a light gray, it means you're going to have to go on the wait list for it. And I'll talk about how to put things on the wait list. Now, how many people here know your Bayless Library PIN number? Okay, I see a couple of hands. No? Okay, you will need your PIN number, and the helpful staff can get that for you when you leave the class here. You have to bring your library card up there, and they will help get you set up with it. It's typically a 4-digit number, sometimes it could be a couple more. That will, it's sort of like your password to get into this and some other things.
I can tell you.
Yeah, I was going to
Oh, go ahead, Susan.
Oh, well, it's the last 4 of your phone number. The phone number that you gave us when you signed up for a card. Unless you chose another set, but typically it's the last 4 of your phone number.
That makes it even easier.
Yeah.
Mobile versions, so if you're looking on a phone, a tablet, a Kindle, they tend to make things smaller so that they load faster for whatever your internet connections are like. So you won't always see the same thing that's up here. Probably part of the reason you didn't see those books is because they're trying to condense the amount of information going through at once. And then you click on the books to see individually. So yeah, it's going to look a little bit different. Now, the good news is about everything that we have up here we can get. So I'm going to walk you through that. Let's try, actually, we had a question, are there kids' books? So the first page is just sort of like if you go and browse the news shelf here at Bayless. Do you have that, is that right out when you walk in first?
To the left, near the main desk, yes.
Okay, to the left is near the main desk, you're going to see all the new books. That's what this screen is. But there's a lot of good books in here that aren't just sitting on that news shelf. You're going to want to go back in the stacks and look to see what's available from years back. And the same thing over here. One way to do that is by each of these headings here and the subjects. So we were looking for children and young adult. We've got fiction, nonfiction, young adult. Let's go with children's fiction. So I'm going to click on that. Okay, here we have some of the light gray ones. So as you can see, they're very popular. You can see they are checked out right now. And we've got some audio ones. Now, this is showing everything, but what's nice is we can narrow that down. One way to do that is filter search by ebook or audiobook. I know that most of you have an interest in the ebooks today, so I'm going to go ahead and eliminate all the audiobooks by clicking on ebook. Now, as you can see, these icons all turn to book format. Now, let's say you are feeling really impatient right now. You want a book this second. You don't want to have to scroll through things that you have to wait for. We can go ahead and limit that too. So let's say I only want to see what is currently available. All you do is click the Available Now button, and it hides all the books that are checked out. So now we have everything here is going to be available for checkout. Let's go ahead and do this Berenstain Bear books. Ghost to the Forest. You like Berenstain Bears?
Oh, she's much higher up than that.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Well, we'll do it for example, and she can go much higher than that.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you get this. This is for everybody. So whether you have a Kindle app, an Android, a Nook, you're going to go ahead and click Borrow. And you're going to want to select your library. For the sake of this, I'm going to select Quamanon because that's where my card is. But you're going to choose Bayless.
Okay, now this one doesn't say borrow, it says place a hold.
Okay, because I just checked it out. If you're following along, I should have said that. There's one copy, and
No, this is a
I
different
did
book.
too.
that means that somebody else checked it out. So if it says place a hold.
Does it say? Does it say? I don't know if we got it.
Okay, well, she may have taken it before I did. If she did
I
not,
think she did.
okay. If it's not available,
Check the payments public library. See what it says.
okay, it seems to have let me get it.
It looks like she's got it too,
Yeah.
because she did it from Bayless.
Okay, well, actually, it's all shared, so maybe there's more than one copy
There's
here.
more than one copy, okay.
So we're going to select download, and it's going to let us choose our format. Kindle book or EPUB ebook. This EPUB ebook is going to work for all those other devices that are not Kindles. If you are using the Overdrive app on an Android, you're going to use the EPUB version. Kindle is only for Kindles and Kindle app. I'm going to walk you through that process right now, though.
Okay.
So I have my Kindle. I'm going to pretend I really don't have a Kindle, but I'm going to select Kindle book, and I'm going to confirm and download.
Okay.
This is where Kindles are very easy. All that stuff in the beginning that we had to do, we can skip it, because what we do, instead of having to download it to the computer and transfer it from the computer to your device, it sends it directly to your Amazon account. And so the next time you bring your Kindle up, it automatically lets you read it there. What I always sort of recommend is if you have access to a computer, go on the computer to do the initial ordering because it will make your life a lot easier. Like you have one of the newer Kindles with more features, so while your view is a little bit reduced with some of the options you can do, it should still work. But some of the older Kindles won't let you actually browse the web like this and order from there. So if it gives you hassles, if you're having trouble with it, jump to a computer if you can, even if it's coming into the library here. I always encourage you to come and use the library, even if you have the access at home. Go on the computer like we've been doing and get these items. You can still get them, you just don't have as many. You can't limit it by ones that are checked out, ones that are available right now. So it's always easier on the computer with this.
So if you go on a computer, it'll download it to your...
I'm showing that right now.
Okay.
Okay. So what I did is I clicked that download button and it brought up the Amazon page. So I'm on Amazon. One thing that I've seen people panic. Do you have a question?
I can't borrow it because I don't know my library card number.
Okay, well, do you have a library card here?
Yes.
Okay, then what you'll have to do is you'll have to, what do you have for a patron lookup available here, because she's not with her parents?
Well, she's with her grandmother.
Yeah.
I could go get the card if you like.
That'd be great.
Okay. That'd be great.
Okay, so she's gonna get that. Now, it takes her to the Amazon page. Some people panic at this point. They say, I don't want to buy this book, why am I on Amazon? This is what you have to look for. Get library book. If it says get library book, you are not buying this. If you have clicked too far and it has a price there, or buy this book, stop what you're doing, don't click any further because you've gone to the wrong spot. But when this Amazon page comes up and it says get library book, that's what you want to do. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. It's going to ask me to sign in. Okay, so I have signed in with my Amazon account. If you have a Kindle or a Kindle app, you have to have an Amazon account to use them. And this is where we talked about earlier about for the younger people that the Friends of the Library donated a Nook instead, because they don't need to have a special account. But for Amazon, if you have a Kindle app, you still need to set up an Amazon account to use the books on there. What it's going to do is it's going to deliver to, it's going to let you select the Kindle. When you have an Amazon account, it should be set up with your Kindle on there. So if your name is Mary, it'll say Mary's Kindle. I don't actually own a Kindle, so it gives me one that's a pretend one on the computer. So it's calling it Dion's Kindle Cloud Reader. So it lets me read it on the computer. So let's pretend that is my Kindle. We're going to click continue. They let you choose because sometimes, let's say you're married and both of you have a Kindle and you share an Amazon account, you can select which Kindle to send it to. Okay, so I selected that. The next time I bring my Kindle up, if I had one here, that book would be waiting for me. So that's how easy it is for the Kindles and the Kindle app, is that you find the book you want, you select download, it opens the Amazon page, get library book, and it sends it directly to your Kindle. Okay, any questions on that? Okay, so I'm going to go back to the Great Lakes library page and talk about the other ways to get things. So if you have any of the other readers that are not Kindle, how to go through and get them there. Okay, we haven't used the search yet. So I'm going to click on Advanced Search in the upper right-hand corner, and it lets us choose by title, author, subjects, formats. First off, does anybody have a favorite author they want us to try to search for right now?
D. Henderson.
E. Henderson?
D. Henderson.
What was it?
D. D-E-E.
Okay.
Henderson.
Henderson. I think you spelled it. D-E-R-S-O-N. Okay.
Okay. Now this shows us that it could not find D. Henderson right away, so it went and looked for anything with Henderson or D in it, and it gave us this Jonathan D. So unfortunately, she is not available in here. How about another one?
Try Kingsbury. I think she's got books on Karen.
Okay, good. So we did have our second try, one of the authors selected. You see we have the dark black book available. Some of them are not available. Okay, let's say we wanted, I can't read that from my direction, like Dandelion Dust. It's got that gray box there. I'm going to click on that. And the only option is place a hold. So I'm going to go ahead and place a hold on this. And what this is going to want is first, because I've already done it, it's not asking me to, but you're going to need to log in with your library card number and PIN number. So you're going to have to log in. I did that already for the previous book. And then it's going to have you give them an email address. That email address is just so they can send you a notice when the book is in. So unfortunately, it's not like the regular library system that can give you a phone call. It's going to have to be an email address. If you do not have an email address, the librarians here can help you set one up and get you going with that, a free one through one of the accounts. But I'm going to place a hold. And I want to talk about holds for a little bit. Every single time that I teach this class, I go through step by step and practice all of my instructions because they change the software so much. Every single time I teach the class, they've changed something in it. And probably about a year ago when I did this, I went and placed a book on hold while I was working, went and took my dinner, I came back, the book was already waiting for me. So it was that quick. On the other hand, about a month ago, I placed a book on hold, a very popular one, the Game of Thrones series, and I get an email probably about 2 days ago that says, you have a book waiting for you. I didn't remember putting that book on hold, it had been so long. So it depends on how popular it is. But you get that email, and they give you 3 days to check it out. So they'll give you a link directly from your email. They'll take you right to that book and how to download it. So it's easy as that to place a hold. You get your email address in there twice, place your hold, and I'm going to go ahead and click to continue browsing. And what we're going to do now is we're just going to show you how to download the other way. Try this Big Sky Summer. I'm going to click on that. Same steps as we did with the Kindle. We're going to go to Borrow. And then we're going to Download. But instead of choosing the Kindle book, this is for anybody else, the Adobe EPUB book. Click on that. Confirm and download. And we talked about how it's going to ask if you want to open or save. Go ahead and hit Open. It's going to open it right in your reader. This is actually, you can read it right on the computer if you want to. This is opening Adobe Digital Editions automatically. That's a second set of software that we installed. So it's on your computer. You can go through and read the book if you want to. We're not going to read it. We're going to actually transfer it to a device, or at least pretend to, because I do not have the device here. So if we click on Library, it shows us the books that we have in. And if we have a Nook with us, we take that Nook and plug it in, it's going to show the Nook right down here. And all we do is take that book and drag it to the Nook and let go. And it's going to transfer that book to the Nook. So this is what you do for those devices that cannot transfer automatically like the Kindle. If you have that Kindle app, or if you have the Kindle, don't worry about this step. This is just for those devices that cannot do the Kindle method. Okay, any questions on that? All right, now with this service, you are allowed 4 books out at a time. So what happens if you're a fast reader and you read all 4 of those books today? You get to return them early. There are 2 different ways to return them early. I'm going to talk about the non-Kindle method right now because I have it up on the screen. So let's say I have a Nook and I want to return my book early. I'm going to bring up Adobe Digital Editions. and I'm going to select the book I want to return. So this is that one we just had checked out here. We're going to right click on it, and we are going to return borrowed item. Make sure, are you sure you want to return borrowed return Big Sky Summer? Yes, we'll return it. Takes it right out of there. It has gone back, and now my account has an extra book to check out if I want to go check out new material. You might do that if you just find you don't like the book. Start reading it 10 pages in, decide that book's not for you. You can return it that easily. A lot easier sometimes than driving to the library and dropping that book back off. So another benefit. Well, some of the stuff seems like a pain. There are some good points to it. Now the other way is for the Amazon. What you want to do is access your Amazon account. So if you go to Amazon and log in up here, I'm already logged in, since hello Dion, and you go over that button and you go down to manage your Kindle. It'll show you the books that you have out. There's my Berenstain Bear book. Actions are over to the right. I'm going to return this book. And then this is confirming, do you want to do that? Yes, I do. And shows loan expired. I can do actions, delete from library to get rid of it. You can keep it there as a memory that you read that book, but I'm going to take it right off my account. Okay, successfully deleted. So we have just returned books early from both the Nook and Sony e-readers and the Kindle. A lot of you have those Kindles and Kindles apps, so that's exactly how you would do it if you have that Kindle app, is you get that Amazon account, you would log right in there and return the book early. We placed a hold on a book where it requires your email address, and we've installed all the software necessary for anything that isn't on a Kindle. Were there any questions on those things? Okay.
I guess I do. How do I access my Amazon account?
Okay. You refresh my memory. You have a Kindle right there.
I have a Kindle.
Right? Okay. And did you buy the Kindle yourself, or did you get it as a gift from somebody?
I bought it.
Okay. So when you bought it, did you buy it through your Amazon account then? Is that how you got it?
I bought it at Kmart.
At Kmart. Okay. And have you bought books through the Kindle at all?
No.
No. Okay. You may not have an Amazon account at this point. To do so, I would recommend going to a physical computer and going to Amazon.com and setting it up. And then there are instructions if you go to Google. So if we go to Google.com, I would recommend typing add Kindle to Amazon account. It's registering your Kindle. It'll tell you how to set it up with your Amazon account. So that's what I would recommend. If it sounds like you may not have ever set one up. The reason I ask if you got it for a gift is because sometimes I've seen where somebody's kids will buy them a Kindle for a present, make an Amazon account to set it up for them, and then not relay the information what the password and the username is, so they have a Kindle and they don't know. But
I think I do.
Oh.
I bought like the case and stuff through Amazon.
Okay, well that is your
so
account.
I think I just don't pay much.
If you forgot the password, because
Right.
this is actually the first time I taught this class that I successfully remember my Amazon password on the first try. If you forget it, you go to Amazon and forgot your password. So you would put your email address in here and forgot password, and they'll email you a reset, because I've had to do that for a number of things. So many services require passwords now that you don't always remember which one you've
Yeah, it's been a
set it
couple
up.
of years.
A couple things I want to mention is there will be times that you have an error code come up when you're trying to do this, or just something not working right. The very last page, I recommend, if you have trouble, especially an error code, write down that error code down, and if you type in to Google what's going on, sometimes you'll get answers right away. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, what's the best place to call? Your library. So the library staff here has seen these errors before. You can give them a call, see if they can walk you through it. And if they haven't seen it, they're going to be skilled at using Google to try and track some of this stuff down. So, and if not, they can take your number and find somebody who does know how to do it. But that is, you might run into trouble with that, but ask your library for help, because the whole purpose of the eBooks is not to keep you out of the libraries, it's to give you one more method to use your libraries. So just because you're not coming in for the physical books doesn't mean we're not here to help you. The other thing I want to talk about, and this is something that I am not skilled to teach you, is a service that Bayless offers called Zinio. I believe some of you got handouts. Zinio will let you use magazines on your e-reader and tablet devices.